I've been interviewing several of my family members for a book I'm putting together on our family history. Two of my uncles spent considerable time in prison when I was younger, so I asked if they could share their experiences with me. One declined, saying he'd rather put those days behind him. The other, however, sent me something very interesting. I thought you guys might be interested, so I'm sharing what he sent to me below. Hey kiddo. Well, you probably don't remember because I first went to prison when you were only a few years old. I was in and out for a while, which you may recall, but over the years I saw a lot of strange shit. Even now, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe you can use some of this for your book. So, when I first got in, my cellmate was this guy covered head to toe in tattoos. Nothing special, right? I have my fair share of tattoos myself, and if you don't have any in prison, you kinda stand out. Anyway, the thing that got me about this guy was that his tattoos are always changing. I don't mean like he was getting new ones, I mean the tattoos that were already on his body. They were different. It was the strangest thing. Like, there was this tiger on his leg. Real badass piece of art. But the head would shift. Sometimes it was looking into space. Other times it was looking right at me. At first I thought I was just seeing things, like maybe the isolation was making me crazy or something. But when I asked the guy about it, he just laughed and was like, yeah, she does that sometimes. And there was this star on his back, with rays coming out of it. It was like the centerpiece of his back, really prominent, and took up a lot of real estate. I swear to God, the rays moved. Not every day, but they damn well moved. They got longer and shorter, they even moved positions. I brought it up with some other guys, but they just said I was full of shit. He was transferred a few months after I got there. Never found out what the hell they were all about. Then, there was this TV that used to be just outside my cell. Loudest goddamn thing. The guards left it on all night. I think in part to torture us, but also probably to drown out the inmates screaming. I don't know how much you know about the inside of a prison, and I sure as hell hope you never have to find out. But lock hundreds of men together in a confined space with nothing to do and a lot of tension to unleash, and you get a lot of screaming. The guys did it mostly to rile the guards up because they were bored. Others did it because they lost their minds and it was all they could do. Anyway, this TV was just outside my cell, which was just fine with me. I could listen to it during the day and the sound of it was somewhat calming at night. The guy in the cell next to me didn't agree though. He would scream and scream and scream, just incoherent shit. He was noisier than the damn TV was. The guards would come and tell him to keep it down, but he would just go nuts. In the end, they threw him in the hole and everything briefly went back to normal. But the first night he came back, he started the same shit again, even worse than before. Something about voices coming to get him. The only damn voice any of us could hear was his. He put in a request to move, which they granted a few days later. But until then, he just spent every night screaming. I don't think he slept at all until they moved him to his new housing unit, and neither did we. Needless to say, he wasn't the most popular guy at the time. So then, he was finally gone, and we got a piece of quiet. Or so we thought. That night, and it wasn't just me. We heard something really weird coming out of the TV. Like chanting or something. I have no idea what language it was, and to this day, I still haven't heard anything like it. But the more I listened to it, the more on edge it made me. The next morning, some guys in nearby cells mentioned they heard it too. We told the guard about it and he said he'd look into it. That night, I was woken up by what sounded like a couple talking right in my ear. I shot out of bed, ready to take down whoever had broken into my cell, but of course, no one was there. It was the TV. It was like the volume had been turned up to full, and it was right inside my head. Maybe that was why the guy next door screamed so much. Over a period of several nights, more and more guys started to complain of headaches and voices that wouldn't leave them alone. Then we woke up one morning, and the TV was gone. No explanation, just gone. But the noises stopped. A few guys requested transfers regardless. They claimed that they could still hear the TV even though it was gone. But 2 of them ended up committing suicide before the requests went through. Then, there was this guy. I'll never forget him. Kinda hard to, really. In prison, we have a lot of free time, and a good way to kill that time is with exercise. We didn't have any weights or anything fancy like that, so you just kinda make do with what's available. This kid comes in, and he was kinda skinny, like the runt of the litter. The kid you'd give a wedgie at school and dump in the trash. Anyway, his cellmate was really into bodybuilding. He kinda took the kid under his wing, showed him the ins and outs. We didn't exactly get the most nutritious meals in jail, but the kid was smart, and starting working odd jobs around the place in exchange for more food, he started getting bigger. People still picked on him, of course, but we couldn't fault his work ethic. A couple months went by, and the kid really threw himself into it. If he had any leftovers, he'd come up and ask for them. No matter what slop it was, he ate it. He timed his workouts around his meals. He traded for more books and things to make his prison-mate weights heavier. This kid just dedicated his entire existence to building muscle. Then one day, he had a fight with his cellmate. This former wimpy kid just absolutely destroyed him. Who knew the kid also spent some time learning martial arts when he was younger? Supposedly, the fight was over commissary. The kid said the big guy was taking his snacks on the sly, which he needed to trade for people's meals. I never got why he did that, but he said something about empty carbs and blah blah. Everyone in the prison wanted snacks and the kid had them. Who wouldn't trade their plate of slop for a bag of chips? The kid knew it and made quite the business out of it. So when his cellmate and former workout partner started stealing some of his much needed currency, well, that didn't go down too well with him. They both got a week in the hole and lost of commissary for a month. The kid's business went down the drain, and we all lost our bonus snacks because of it. They got out a week later. The boys claimed they were all good, and it was just a big misunderstanding. Moving a prisoner to another housing unit takes time, and if neither of them were gonna complain, there wasn't much the guards could do about it. So they were back in the same cell again, but the kid was really on edge. "I need my protein," he kept repeating, over and over. Like his muscles were gonna waste away right then and there. The next morning, the guards found a bloodbath. The kid killed his cellmate in his sleep, and was eating him like a goddamn cannibal. As they dragged him away, all we could hear was, "I need my protein." I'll never forget the sight of it. Well, this was just some of the weird shit that happened over the years. you wouldn't believe some of what goes on behind the bars. If you need more, just let me know. It's kinda cathartic to talk about it after all these years. That's the word, right? Cathartic?